did with winning that game.
Yeah. So, first of all, you guys, can you tell me a little bit about how you guys felt competing as a team together?
It was fun. I mean, it was the first time we actually got to use the screen and take it seriously. And it's interesting. There's a lot less pressure when you're playing with 3 people. It's more of a consensus with fairly weighted opinions based on what we're playing. And I like that dynamic a lot personally. I don't know what they have to think about that.
Yeah, I think we communicated better than I thought we did, because we haven't had much. We've done a lot of preparation in terms of preparing the decks, but we haven't been able to prepare in terms of like talking with each other. I think we dealt with that pretty well.
Yeah, this is really similar to all the other team tournaments I've participated in. This is the 4th one I've played in, so it feels very similar. I've gotten a lot used to it. In the beginning it was really shaky with me with team tournaments in general, but this one, these guys were just super easy to work with right from the get-go. In Trinity Series, I played with Strife on my team, and he is not easy to work with because he's really bad at vocalizing his opinion, and it takes him a really long time. So, like, the turn you got like a minute and a half or whatever, and then like a minute of that goes, and he's explained the first half of his opinion, and then you're like, I'd love to create a counter argument, but the turn's over. Yeah. So, but with these guys, they're very concise, pretty easy to then. They say their opinion, I say my opinion, debate, still got a minute left, and we're like, alright, let's think about some other stuff. And then we try and think about what's in our opponent's hand, why are they doing, try and read their lips, stare at them a little bit, get a reaction, whatever.
And I think we kind of have a good dynamic in terms of like weighting the opinions.
Yeah.
So, like, you're the tiebreaker.
Okay.
You still lose if we both think something else.
Yeah.
Who would you say between you is the best at deck building?
I don't know how to even.
People actually build decks.
I build quite a lot of decks, but I build quite a lot of bad decks. So probably not me.
That's a really tough question.
Most of the time, when you approach creating a deck, what you do is you find similar archetypes of what you want to accomplish. You look at tech cards that may be successful for doing something that you want to accomplish with that archetype, and then you kind of base it off the work that someone's already done, and then expand upon that. So that no one's really just like carving new ground when you're making a deck. It's almost always based off of something similar, and then you refine it for a specific purpose. So I think deck building, we really all collaborated on what is the purpose of these decks, why do we be playing these decks, what do we want to do, and then we found archetypes that fit what we were trying to do, and then we shaped them with tech cards. So we didn't build anything new, we created a plan together, and then supported that plan with collections of ideas from the entire collaborative of people that play Hearthstone at a professional level.
And the only exception to that, I guess, is the ET decks, but most of that, like the ET decks, you guys will see it as the tournament unfolds. The starting point of ET decks, 10 to 15 cards that they selected, the decks also have to be singleton, they have to be Highlander decks. Those decks start off really badly, except for Priest, which seems unstoppable, but the other 8 start off really badly. So yeah, a lot of it was prep that we all collaborated on, but at the end, there's some pretty interesting things that you can do with those decks, and hopefully that comes out in a way where we end up getting more points in the end. But we get to play those, so we'll see.
Back to me, alright. So we've gotten a glimpse so far at the new expansion, but what going forward would you guys like to see come out of the new expansion? Mechanics-wise, character-wise, what have you?
I think a lot of mechanics like Discover, mechanics where there's a lot of decision making involved in each card, and it's not kind of just simple static minions that you're playing on curve. You have a lot of basically cards that allow a lot of decision making within games.
I'm really excited about the mechanic that we saw revealed in the opening there. They have the recruit mechanic, where you can kind of pull a minion from your deck and bring it into play.
It seems terrifying.
It seems really cool. My favorite type of decks is combo decks, and they're kind of non-existent in Standard. And I'm hoping this brings them back, and I'm really looking forward to playing some crazy busted combos and just trying to figure out what I can do with that. That mechanic looks super fun, so I'm really excited to see more recruit cards and try and revive combo decks.
I would like to not see too many powerful 1-drops, if possible.
That's fair.
So I'm just going to keep this going. All right. So we're in kind of the final stretch here of the Mammoth. What cards are you going to be sad to see cycle out with the new year, and what are you going to be glad to see go?
Does Patches go?
Patches. He was Mean Streets.
Yeah, I think. No, maybe not. What's after Mean Streets?
Mean Streets.
Karazhan?
Whispers, Mean Streets, and Karazhan, I believe.
What was Patches? Do you know what Patches was from?
Mean Streets.
Does it
Patches
rotate?
goes.
Yes.
Alright, then I'm definitely most excited to get rid of Patches. Like, no doubt. Patches is such a frustrating card to play with and play against. Sometimes you draw it and you just kind of lose the game in aggro mirrors, which is silly, and I think it's terrible design. And other times, sometimes they have Galaka Crawler, which you can't really account for or really play around in a lot of cases. So it can be a very frustrating card to play with and against, and it's so powerful that oftentimes you have to play with it even when you have to accept all these RNG factors.
I'm kind of happy every form of Jade is going away.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a pretty popular opinion, I mentioned.
I'm actually gonna miss Yogg-Saron. It's quite a love or hate it type of card. A lot of people don't like it because it's extremely random, but I think it's one of the most entertaining cards in the game, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm gonna miss it.
I think the Old God set was just really well designed. There was a lot of things that I would have missed, but I feel like the last few expansions just outclassed everything that came out in Whispers.
Yeah.
So the cards going away just doesn't matter much anymore. Like, I'm going to miss N'Zoth, but it's not like N'Zoth was doing anything on ladder these days.
You played
Same
N'Zoth,
with Cocoon decks. Like, Cocoon decks is really cool. I thought they're really cool, at least.
Yeah.
I know some people are not so happy about Cocoon decks. But all the decks are rolling on the big Old Gods. I really like them. And there's a few combo cards in there that we miss. They even had like balanced RNG cards back then, with like Renounced Darkness, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you want to play Renounced Darkness, that's on you, and you might win an odd game.
Love it.
But in general, it's not like 50% of ladders Renounced Darkness. It's not like RNG that hits you in the face all the time.
100% of ladder pretty much is Patches, and that's RNG that smacks you right in the face all day.
Alright, we got time for one more question. Oh, all you, Adam.
All right. So, what of the basic cards, what would you like to see hit the Hall of Fame this year?
What cards do we not like from Classic?
I think Ice Block, purely because, not because I have something against the card in particular, but it's just shaped mage for such a long time, and it's kind of forced mage into a specific archetype, and I'd like to see some other forms of mage evolve.
I feel like Mage really struggled with that Ice Block.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's not like Mage is doing great right now.
There's still a Temper Mage.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see mage go in a different direction and not just be the same thing all the time.
Yeah, I'd like to see Alex Straza kind of changed or removed back to the Hall of Fame. It's been a really staple legendary in a ton of decks for a really long time, and it's just the whole concept of set your opponent to 15, then kill him. And that's been a combo deck that's been like played out forever, and they've had to kind of nerf things around that not happening. So removing that can open up some design space and maybe allow for different combo decks to come in. So I'd like to see Alex Straza get rotated.
I don't know. For me, I know there's a lot of cards that we see in a lot of decks, like we see Swipe in most Druid decks, things like that. But I think if it's still okay, if it doesn't feel like terrible when you come across these cards, I don't think they should take them out. I know the past argument has been if these cards are put in every deck, you should get them out of the standard set. But they've held back a little bit. I think that's a good thing, because you still have to have a pretty good play experience if you don't have much of a collection. Like, you don't want a standard set where the base and classic cards are all weak, because then when someone starts playing the game, they're
Not
going
gonna
to have a
good
really bad
experience.
time. So Ice Block, I kind of agree. I think what I don't like about Ice Block is not so much the two Ice Blocks. It's like the Babbling Book 3rd and 4th Ice Block off the Primordial Glyph. So I can kind of see that with Ice Block, but there could be maybe a way that they get around that, where Discover lists are moving toward more restrictive. Like, I really like that. I really like, for instance, Ivory Knight, the chess piece, the Paladin card that discovers a spell and you can gain the help, where it's a limited discover, it's a paladin and it's a spell, and you have the other factor of where you might choose a card you don't even care about just because it has high mana cost because you want to heal. So I think restricted discover cards will probably solve a lot of these issues that people don't like about cards like Ice Block.
Is there anything else you guys want to add? All right, thanks everybody.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.